Hey guys, it's Mauvella here. I'm Tammy.
I'm Inui.
And we're actually starting a little podcast series, and this is going to be our first little episode. And we're pretty much just going to be talking about everything like lash related and everything about us and like Mauvella and everything. And sometimes we really want to go into lots of detail and everything, but we don't really get to on our social media because I feel like you got to be really straightforward on social media. So we kind of just decided to go ahead with like a little podcast. So yeah, for today's episode, we're doing how we met and just like everything. Honestly, I feel like the stars aligned when you and I met, and we're just going to kind of talk about that story.
I feel like a lot of people wonder how we met and how we started this business. And it's crazy because we actually started this business very soon after we met,
Yeah.
which surprises a lot of people because we weren't friends first. We actually were business partners first, and then we became friends. So we kind of want to dive into how that all started and even happened. So when Tamanna and I first met, it was because she needed to get her lashes done. And she actually just moved to the area. She wasn't living in Milton before. You were in Toronto.
I was in Milton for like a year or so, but I wasn't getting my lashes done in Milton.
So Tamanna reached out to a bunch of lash artists.
So many. I was actually working at Lululemon at the time, and I was doing lashes on the side, and there was like this guy. It was honestly during COVID, and there was this guy at work for some reason, and honestly, I'm really not this kind of person anymore, but at the time I just thought, "Oh my God, I gotta look cute. There's a cute guy at work." And but I didn't know really what he looked like because he had a mask. And so I was like, oh my God, I gotta reach out to everybody and I need them done tonight. It's kind of so lame, honestly, when I
so
think
last
back
minute,
to it.
yeah.
It's so lame why I wanted to. But then I reached out to like 10 lash artists, but there was only you, I think, that I reached out to in Milton, but the rest were in like Mississauga or Toronto. If you guys don't know where that is, it's about like 30 to 45 minutes away from my area. But you were the only one that actually ended up getting back to me that night, and you were like, sure, I can do 9 p.m.
I used to take clients so late, so early. So when she reached out to me, I was like, oh, okay, just another new client. So I didn't have anybody at that time. I think I had somebody leading up to that. And then she was my
Yeah.
last client, obviously, for the night. So since I responded really fast, which is very important as a lash artist, if you want to get clients through your door,
Yep.
responding to DMs gets you a lot of clients if you answer fast. Because if I didn't answer, somebody else would have, and would have went to them. And that's kind of how it does a full circle, is because I answered right away and we met. And if it wasn't for that, if I didn't answer in that timing, we literally wouldn't have met because you just would have went to somebody else. But
I could throw up thinking about that.
no, it's
Oh
crazy.
my
That's why I'm
God.
such like a big believer in everything happens for a reason, because that was meant to happen because this was meant to happen.
Yeah.
So she reached out and I answered, and I booked her in that night, and she came over, and we actually related a lot to each other about things that we've gone through that a lot of people I don't think go through, and it was very
Yeah.
specific. So we had a lot in common with that, and
We
I also
bonded a
we
lot.
bonded a
Yeah.
lot, and I also don't really talk during my lash appointments. I like
Yeah.
to just lash and kind of get through it because I find like a lot of people's eyes jitter and all that kind of stuff. So it's
Yeah.
hard for me to talk and lash, but
And I could see that with you even now. Like, we obviously take models and stuff for our content.
yeah.
And I noticed that with you. Like, I feel like I can talk a little bit,
Yeah.
but I feel like for the most part you're very like silent because
pretty
you just want to work
quiet.
through it. So I'm kind of surprised when I look back to
Yeah.
like when we met. I'm kind of surprised that you even spoke to me.
I know. I feel like we just like had this like connection off the bat, and like when we started opening up, it was very much like relatable to both of us, and
Yeah.
something we both have gone through that a lot of people don't know about, but it's
Yeah.
like I feel like a lot of people are learning about it more.
Yeah.
So this specific thing we bonded on, and we just talked a lot throughout her
Yeah.
lash appointment, and then she ended up coming back and getting her lashes done again. And then I think
No, I was experiencing like the thing about my eyes is that when you apply too close to my eyes, it's just my eyes though, when you apply like close or like you normally would as a lash artist. For me, I don't know why I can feel it and it feels like it's poking me. I think I just have like extra skin or something on my eyes. And I always tell every new lash artist that I go to, I always tell them, make sure you apply it a little bit further up, like further away from like my lash line. And I forgot to tell you that. And then I was like experiencing some irritation because of that, because I could just feel it for some reason. And I messaged you and I was like, I need to get this redone. And like, even though that's kind of my fault, you still gave me really, really good
Yeah.
customer service. And you were like, okay, I'll fix them. And then I came to you the week after and you gave me like a whole set. Cause by that time I rubbed it all off.
Yeah.
It was hurting. And then you ended up giving me a brand new set, like for free. And like we bonded again. It was like my
Yeah.
second time seeing you and we bonded.
And then I remember I think I reached out to you just right after that because the person who I was getting my lashes done with, she is dating somebody. She still is. I think she's married to him now, but she was dating somebody in the NHL. So she had to actually move to where he was getting traded to. So she was moving to the States. So I needed to find a new lash artist to swap services with because I can't live without my lashes. So I actually asked Amanda if she wanted to start swapping services and she was down. So then we did that a couple times. And then I think like the second time, or third
Third
time,
time, I think, yeah.
we decided that we would want to do a training together. And I was already doing trainings.
Yeah, and I wasn't, but I wanted to so bad. But the idea of it was so intimidating for me. I feel like there's a lot of lash artists who's probably on the same boat, but it was just so intimidating. So as soon as you asked me, like we were just kind of talking about trainings and stuff, and you were like, "Oh, yeah, I do them," and you were talking to me about them, and then you were like, "Oh, would you want to do one together?" And I was like, "Yes."
I was like, group trainings. Do you want to do group trainings? Because I was just
Yeah.
individually training people.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to do group trainings because I was so like passionate about it at that point. And you were down. So then we decided to start creating a manual, which I already had my own,
Yeah.
but we wanted to like really make it great. So we sat at Coffee Culture, which is just like a coffee place around us.
Yeah.
And we'd meet up like literally every second day to work on this manual. And I remember
We'd
it was
bring our
around, it was around like Christmas time we started. And
Yeah.
it was like so cute because we'd get those little cute drinks and like all the
And it
little
was snowing
treats. And it was
outside,
snowing.
and
It was
we'd
so
like
Christmassy. And we loved that feeling of like Christmas time. So it was like so perfect. And we would just meet up and we'd work on the manual like all the
Yeah.
time. And then we'd also work on it at home. And we were just working on a manual for a very long time.
Yeah, we made our manual, which by the way, still amazing. We made it so in depth. Like it was like we were creating a 90-page manual at the time and there was so much planning
We are very
that went
proud of our
into it.
manual.
Yeah, I think we worked on our manual for like 2 months, I think,
Yeah.
at that
Oh, it
point.
was like very detailed.
Yeah, it was actually November when we started
Yeah.
meeting.
And I think we finished it in February.
Yeah.
Just like the beginning of February because then we
Yeah.
did our first group training.
Yeah, yeah,
Or it could have
yeah.
been in January.
January,
So it took us like
probably.
about 2
2
months,
months.
2.5.
I think, yeah.
So we did that, and then there
We
was a lot in
hosted.
between that because we were trying to figure out where do we like host this training? Like, do we like create a blog? Do we create a
Yeah.
website? Like, there was a lot that went into that. So
And we had to create an Instagram.
an Instagram, which
Yeah.
got hacked, by the way, when
Eventually
we
got
started a new one.
hacked.
But to get back to the story, we worked on this manual for a very long time, and then we started our group trainings, which actually were very popular when we first started.
Yeah.
Like our very first group training we launched had 8 people, so
Yeah.
it was pretty
Yeah.
big. And the thing with us is we actually never decided to start a product line. It was not something we were looking into. It naturally just came to us because
Yeah.
we started doing these group trainings and we really wanted to use products that were going to be our own because we're giving so many students products and stuff for their training kits, and we were using other lash companies and stuff. And I think in that moment, after we did a few trainings, we kind of just like came to this realization, wait, why don't we like start a product line so we can give all these students we're training Mauvella brand products?
Yeah.
So then we started to dive into the process of that, which was long.
That was like crazy. And there was a lot of money and time.
There's a lot of
put
money wasted
into-
for us to even like
Yeah.
start this product line. I think we were out like 50K for
50K.
just like testing products and trying things
Yeah.
because the thing with
And
us,
then we even like bought some products that we were
Yeah.
somewhat happy with, but then eventually changed it because we're like, never mind. But you have to kind of bulk buy. The thing about like starting your own line and like trying to find good manufacturers and stuff is like you can't just buy one or two. You can sample it, but you can't just buy one or two or 5 or 10. You have to buy like a minimum
lot,
of like
yeah.
100 or 200. Like you have to buy it in bulk. So there was lots of money spent on that, and then we're like, oh, we're just not so happy with it. Yeah, there's a lot of like trial and error when it comes to, and even like obviously when you initially start, you don't just like, we didn't have every single product that we do now. So
Yeah.
there was even more time and more money and energy put
Yeah.
into like just finding
And
like
like
the right.
even when we started, we only had accessories because I remember
Yeah.
being like, "Oh, we can just be everybody's one-stop accessory shop."
Yeah.
And I was like, "It's so cute! Like everybody can just buy their accessories off of us." And
And
like,
one glue.
yeah, so we
Yeah.
had like barely anything because like you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So we eventually, after trial and error with the product line, we eventually started getting products in. We were very happy with it. It was high quality. We loved it. And then our product line started slowly growing from there. But the only reason why we started a product line is because we
Of the
wanted it for our
trainings.
trainings. We wanted to give students Mauvella brand products, and we're very big on like high quality luxury. So
Yeah.
we didn't want to like cheap out on anything or have any products that weren't up to our standards. So this is why that process took so long and so much money, because we wanted it to be so perfect.
Yeah.
Our training was already perfect, so we had to match our training with products as well. So we never had a vision of like starting a product line. We just like, we're gonna start trainings, and then eventually the product line just came to us.
Yeah.
And I just like, that's why I feel like it was meant to be,
Yeah.
because like we didn't even plan for this. It kind of just happened.
And even just like meeting you too, I feel like that's one thing where we both got so lucky on. Like, I don't naturally meet people and go, I feel like I would start a business with you, especially that fast. And I feel like that's why we started so fast, was because those times where like we'd have our little like lash appointments together and stuff and do our lashes for each other, we bonded a lot and talked a lot, which again is not something that you did. And then once we did, we realized how much we both value quality. And not gonna lie, I kind of feel like in every industry, but you know, obviously specifically the lash industry, I feel like there's a lot of people who are kind of in it for like a money grab a little bit. But talking to you and seeing your work and like obviously everything that we bonded over, it's all about like quality and like not just making a buck and like actually just trying to give people good sets and stuff like that. So I just felt like you cared so much and valued like quality, but also I felt like when we talk about things like money and like work ethic and stuff, I just feel like it's hard to meet somebody who has
It's hard,
those like habits and qualities.
and actually want to work with them long term. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's such a good thing that we started out as business partners and not friends, because I think starting a business with a friend can be very difficult because you have so much personal stuff that you can relate back to that can interfere with the business. So I think the fact that we started fully just as like a business together without a friendship, but trusting each other enough to get into business together, and like with our money, like we obviously had to open up bank accounts together. We had to go through lawyers, obviously, to like decide what happened. Like obviously, God forbid one of us dies, but like we had to like sign things just in case that were to happen. What would we do with the money, or what would happen if one person decided they didn't want to like do Mauvella anymore? Like we had to do that whole process, and there was a lot of things at the beginning that was really difficult to trust somebody with, like even our accountant and sharing our money and like our account, like everything was very much shared.
And like trusting that like if we get to a certain point, you're not gonna just grab all the money and cut.
And run. I would never do that. I know you wouldn't either.
Oh
but
my God, never.
You have to be able to fully trust somebody that
Yeah.
you're working with.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have that trust. Like,
Yeah. Oh my God, now I would never. Obviously, we've built that over time, but it's just like, I feel like we always talk about, we always look back and we're like, that's one thing where I think I'm genuinely so lucky is meeting you, because I don't think that there's many
there's no one that I
people you
can think of
work
actually
with.
that I would start a business with that I feel like would be the same as starting it with you, because I feel like we just work so well together, and like your strengths are my weaknesses and my strengths are your weaknesses, and like some things we're just both really great at that we share,
And we balance each other
exactly.
out,
So I feel like it works really well for us. And we're about like just over 2 years into this now, and we grew really fast. And like we were talking about before, we had an Instagram that got hacked.
Oh my God, yeah, my fault, by the way, for
Just
that.
never click a link. If you get a random email and it says, you're copywriting, click here to fix that, or your account's gonna get deleted. Don't click that link.
Okay, wait.
She clicked the link, and I was the one who brought it up to her. I was like, hey, oh my gosh. And I actually thought we did copyright, because previously I posted a video with a song and I was like, oh wait, was I not supposed to use that song? So we got this email and I'm like, it's saying we copyrighted.
And like the thing is like, I know they say that like guys, like the emails are gonna look real. So but I'm
looked so
telling
real.
you, it really did
I even got one the other day and I was
real.
questioning. I was like, wait, really? But obviously I don't click it and she doesn't either. But right
But at that
away,
time, I think I
we were
was
so
just
new. We
and
didn't
and it
know.
was like if you don't do it within 24 hours or something, like your page is gonna get
Yeah.
hacked and or
Deactivated
sorry,
and
deactivated
yeah.
and like
So you
deleted and
just like
stuff.
jumped on it. So I sent it to her and I was like, oh my God, what is this? And I was the one to bring it to her attention.
Yeah.
And then she started freaking out. And then I ended up Googling it and researching it and realized it was a scam. So right away I texted her and I was like, wait, don't click it. Don't click it. It's a scam. And she literally was like, too late. Oh my God, I think we're hacked out of our, or we're logged out of our
Because
Instagram. And I have never cried so much
yeah,
because we just
yeah.
started this and we just did a huge giveaway where somebody won to get more followers because we were so new and we were trying to grow.
And we were only at 300 followers at the time, but I think anybody who's built their Instagram pages knows that like your first couple followers or your first couple hundred followers or whatever, that's like really the most difficult to build, I feel like. And then obviously once you get to a certain point, I feel like it just becomes a little easier. But we were at 300 and for us to build that 300, it took so much like posting and consistency. We did a huge giveaway where we're giving lots of product away.
A free course.
A free course, everything. We did so much and we finally built it to just 300. And then we got hacked and it kind of felt like we put all of that work in there for no reason and it was so frustrating.
And it's crazy too because the guy actually reached out who hacked us.
Yeah.
And he was saying like, oh, pay me this much and I'll give it
He
back.
wanted some sort of like cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin type of
We
thing.
had no idea
Or
what that
Ethereum or
yeah.
something like that. I had no idea what it was, but I was like, okay, we are trying to finesse him a little bit. We are trying to like, but then we realized, okay, this guy's not giving us our Instagram back. So then
it was gone and we started new. But I mean, now we built over 100K within 2 years.
Yeah.
Which is like a great achievement, I think, for us.
Yeah. But I think it just goes to show that I feel like we work so well. And I think that's why our growth has been exponential because I feel like I think it's really about us. And I feel like the good thing about us too is like we're both able to reflect and obviously we still get into like little arguments and
We've had a
like,
couple big ones.
yeah, we butt heads sometimes. I think it's just so like normal though, especially when you're with somebody that
all
much.
the time, pretty much.
All of the time, every single day. And if we're not together, we're literally texting or
Yeah,
FaceTiming
like there's
or
literally
calling.
never been a day where we haven't talked, obviously.
Yeah, it's literally like family. So it's like obviously you're gonna have times where you may butt heads or like she may feel a certain way about something, but I look at it a little differently. And sometimes we're able to like actually align and see what the other person's talking about, but sometimes we're like, no.
Yeah.
But I still feel like we're able to like actually put our egos aside.
Yeah.
Sometimes
We're
and
able
like
to actually like realize who's right and who's wrong, but like reflect and understand,
Yeah.
okay, it's not about ego on who's right or who's wrong. It's actually just like who is right and who is wrong in this
Yeah.
situation and let's resolve it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes obviously like your day and things you're going through and stuff like that can get in the way and can cause fights, even though it's not actually against each other. Things in your personal life can come up that can cause like a fight to, I guess, grow a little larger than it should. So I think we're very like willing to accept our flaws and to like acknowledge like, oh my gosh, you know what, this just stemmed from me being upset and it got bigger than what it actually was. But I feel like we're very good at like reflecting and like working on it, and I feel like ever since we actually started working on it, we barely fight now. But it's like such a great thing because we work together all the time. So like we had to, just like any relationship that you'd even have with someone that you're dating, like you have to work on it. Just like us, like we have to work on a relationship. We're in this for the long run, for a very long time, hopefully the rest of our lives. So
definitely for the rest of it. Don't ever say hopefully. Definitely 1,000% for the rest of our lives.
So we had to really figure out how to work well together and how to like kind of know each other's personalities in regards to how to talk to that person.
Yeah. But I feel like even if we ever stop Mauvella, let's just say, or we sell Mauvella, or like we just want to start something else, I would just always do it with you.
Same. But we'll never sell Mauvella or stop Mauvella ever.
No, not stop Mauvella. I mean more so like starting
But agreed.
something
I would
else,
say
like,
if we were to start something else on top of Mauvella, it would be with you. Yeah. But that is pretty much how we met and the story to where we are now and how we're doing and how we overcome obstacles and everything in between. So we hope you guys enjoyed this.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, and that's about it.
Bye.
Bye.